Hi, thanks so much for joining us. My name is Shannon from Strategic Intervention Solutions. I'm super excited to share with you one of our newest publications. It's a Math for Littles publication that is called My Math Word Problem Journal. It's really an introduction to word problems for littles. If you followed us on our blog in the previous weeks, you have noticed that we have talked a lot about real objects in the physical world, quantitative pictures, and then bringing students into a math work mat. Now it's time to bring words and numbers to life and apply them to CPA, which is concrete, pictorial, abstract. In this tutorial video, I'll be explaining how to use the My Math Word Problem Journal for your littles by using it with part-whole addition problems. Our first mat, as you notice, is set up with multiple ways of kids understanding their thinking. Every one of the journal days has a picture to kind of get the little kind of thinking about what the scenario might be. You also see a code in the upper right-hand corner that demonstrates that this problem is going to be representative of part-whole addition. The problem here says Scott's dad grilled on a barbecue for dinner. He grilled 4 hot dogs and 2 hamburgers. How many food items did he grill? We have certain things on the form, such as sentence form, which really helps students to understand what the problem is asking instead of just circling the two numbers and adding because you're adding this week, or taking the two numbers and subtracting because you're subtracting this week. We like for kids to constantly go through that CPA process, so we might start off kids as they're doing this using the math work map, where they might be able to really refer to that problem and the different parts that are being in it by person kind of chunking the problem and having them record it. So Scott's dad grilled on the barbecue for dinner, and then you'd have the kids repeat that statement. He grilled 4 hot dogs. So having your kids move the manipulative to their mat by showing and talking about how this is representative of their 4 hot dogs. So I'm going to put my 4 counters here to show that those are my 4 hot dogs that he has on the grill. I then would have them read, and he made 2 hamburgers. And I would have them kind of repeat that. At the beginning, kids might just randomly put their circles out on their mat. Eventually, you want to start to get them to do it in a 5 set, like you'll see here, because it's easier to count this to look at the total that we're looking at, in this section of the mat. Acting it out concretely can be done with different kinds of objects, whether it's 1-inch square tiles, it could be maybe counters, but you want to kind of make it an inanimate object, meaning you don't need to have rubber erasers that are hot dogs and rubber erasers that are hamburgers for this problem. We want kids to start to use their imagination. As students have practiced and gotten really well at acting out the concrete objects and kind of taking it from our series on the math work mat to now this blank math work mat, you can really move them throughout the pictorial and the abstract parts of what kids are going to learn about. This journal I kind of pre-filled out to give you an idea of what it might look like on their paper. If you've noticed at the top of the story problem, I ended up putting in something that we call chunks. And we do something like this in all of the grades, kindergarten through 5th, which is chunking the word problems. Getting kids to kind of slow down, gain a picture of what's being asked, but that chunk line is there so they can kind of process what's going on and sort of get into the story. So every time a new piece of information is given in the story, especially mathematical pieces, we put this line or chunk. Your littles can highlight it if you wanted to, or just kind of start to follow along depending on what time of the year that you're using this journal. We certainly want you to go through the developmental process of our story problems in the early years first before we would get to this. The sentence form is something, again, that's also required in all of our story problems that we do from grades kindergarten through 5th. However, in kindergarten, we do provide the sentence for them. So Scott's dad grilled food items. I like to say because I don't know the answer. And if you put your arms out and kind of shrug your shoulders, kids get used to doing that. We don't want kids to write BLANK. Now, if you notice in my drawing, in my classroom, I've been taught to do organized drawings. At the beginning, kids might start to try to draw something that looks like a hamburger, maybe a circle, and they might try to draw more of an oval look for the hot dog, and that is totally fine. Over time, we want kids to start to ring, label, and organize their drawings, as you can see here in my quick draw. I have 4 distinct colors that I've used to represent my hot dogs, and then I also have the red to represent my hamburgers. I put them into what we call a 5 group, which matches what we're going to happen in a 10 frame model, so that I can look at this quickly to get to my total. I can see that I have 6 there altogether. There's a modeling here Of the 10 frame, I like to use two-sided counters with the actual 10 frame. Kids can use their crayons to do this, or they can even put X's and O's inside of here. I denoted my 4 hot dogs with the red circle and my 2 hamburgers with the yellow. When I go to fill out my number bond, I'm going to give the parts that they gave me in the problem. So they gave me a 4 and then they gave me a 2, and I know when I put those together that I have 6, so I can fill out that number bond. Once kids have figured out what the answer is, they can go up to that sentence form and fill in the amount that they're looking for. When students are ready, they can start to do the computation. As you can notice, it's a square, a circle, a square equals a square. So that's kind of confusing, but we don't want to automatically put the plus sign in there or the subtraction sign because we're sort of just giving that problem away. So as students are ready, we can put in that algorithm, which is going to be our 4 plus our um, 4 plus our 2, so that we know that we have a total of 6 altogether. So again, this computation part, over time, kids will start to fill in that algorithm. So acting it out from hearing it auditorily, concretely, starting to get into an organized way of showing your work, and then getting that drawing to be very good, quicks and labels. Sometimes kids can even draw an arrow or circle these and put an H next to it, that those represent the hot dogs, and maybe these two they can insert together that these represents the HB for hamburger. You could get kids to really start to label their thinking in the drawing piece, which is really great. We hope that you found our tutorial video helpful on how to start to bring in a more formatted way of doing word problems with littles. This goes along with our series with looking at the math story mats first, which would come first in the kindergarten year, along with quantitative pictures. We like to start this journal a little bit towards the end of the second semester, or the end of the first semester, the beginning of the second semester in our kindergarten classes, but we certainly could use this in the area of preschool as well. We have 75 days that are created in this nice journal format, working with part whole addition, part whole subtraction, and part whole missing add-in. Check out our website at sis4teachers.org for more information, or you also can join us on any of our social media channels from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, as well as Twitter and LinkedIn, all with the handle at sis4teachers.